Hey everybody, I'm Matt with Halloween Daily News. Welcome back to the Halloween Show. This is episode 25 and you are here for a good one. We've got Damien Leone, writer, director, creator of the Terrifier franchise, in an exclusive first look preview of my brand new interview. But first up, here are this week's other Halloween headlines. Absolutely one of the most anticipated Halloween movies of the year. Two of them, in fact, is the upcoming animated adaptation of Batman The Long Halloween. This will be a two-part adaptation of the classic mid-1990s comic book story, and the full voice cast was announced this week. Jensen Ackles of Supernatural and My Bloody Valentine '09 leads the cast as Batman, along with the late Naya Rivera, the Glee star who died in July of 2020 after already completing her voice work as Catwoman. The voice cast also includes Josh Duhamel as Harvey Dent, Billy Burke as James Gordon, Titus Welliver as Carmine Falcone, David Dastmalchian as Calendar Man, Troy Baker as Joker, Amy Landecker as Barbara Gordon, Julie Nathanson as Gilda Dent, Jack Quaid of the upcoming Scream as Alberto, Fred Tatasciore as Solomon Grundy, and Alistair Duncan as Alfred. Chris Palmer is directing from a script that reteams him with Superman Man of Tomorrow screenwriter Tim Sheridan. The MPA has already rated Batman The Long Halloween Part 1 PG-13 for violence, bloody images, language, and some smoking. Originally published in 1996 through 97, the original 13-issue comic book story The Long Halloween by Jeff Loeb and Tim Sale follows a killer named Holiday who murders people on every holiday for a year from Halloween to the next Halloween. It also features many of Batman's iconic villains as he investigates the murders over the course of the year. Warner Brothers is releasing 4 DC Universe animated films in 2021, the first of which, Batman Soul of the Dragon, was released in January. Next up will be Justice Society World War II on April 27th, followed by The Long Halloween Part 1 this summer, and Part 2 to follow this fall. A new official trailer for the upcoming independent Halloween thriller Hollowhood was released online this week. In the film, Olivia and her ex-girlfriend Penny are reuniting with their friend Natasha for a Halloween weekend away in Hollowhood. At first, Olivia dreams of reigniting the love she and Penny shared, but the creepy locals, the weird priest, and a man whose wife went missing 5 years ago changed those plans. Soon, Olivia isn't focused on whether she and Penny can fall back in love, but whether they can survive. The feature was filmed and is set in the UK's English countryside. It is described as a drama/thriller. The feature film was written and directed by J.J. Barnes and Jonathan McKinney, starring Kate Morris, Vicky Burke, and Leo Parks. A release date has not yet been announced. Shudder is once again celebrating halfway to Halloween month with loads of premieres and new originals debuting on the streaming network throughout the month of April. It kicked off with Creepshow Season 2 premiering on April 1st, and will later include the 2021 Fangoria Chainsaw Awards. Shudder promises that this year's Halfway to Halloween month is their biggest month of original programming yet, featuring a packed slate of original films and series, an exclusive documentary, a library of cult classic favorites, and the return of the Halfway to Halloween hotline. The Last Drive-In with Joe Bob Briggs returns on April 16th, and the 2021 Fangoria Chainsaw Awards premieres on April 18th. The documentary In Search of Darkness Part 2 premieres on April 26th. And that's just some of the highlights. The full lineup can be found at Shudder.com. Of course, you can read more about all of those stories and lots more right now at HalloweenDailyNews.com. Alright, I just recently got to talk to Damien Leone. We had an awesome conversation all about his life, his own origin story, and his career, and everything that has led to Terrifier, and of course, the highly anticipated upcoming sequel, Terrifier 2. The full interview is coming soon, but right now, here's an exclusive clip. We're going to world premiere right here on the Halloween show. In this portion of the interview, Damien is discussing the genesis of Art the Clown and how horror's newest Halloween icon was created. Check it out. That started with some shorts, right?
Yes. Yeah.
So how did that come to be?
Yeah. So when I got out of high school, I was like, all right, naturally, I'm going to try and go to film school.
Mm-hmm.
So I took one film class at the new school in Manhattan, and it was an aesthetics of directing class, just an introduction into directing. And I realized like it really wasn't for me because I didn't like what they were teaching. You know, I was probably too young and immature, honestly, at the time to appreciate what they were showing me. But I really wasn't into like these foreign films and whatnot. It was nothing, you know, that wasn't why I wanted to be a filmmaker. So I stopped going and I was like, you know what? I just got to make a short film. Like that's, you know, you got to have that calling card. So, you know, I tried to play to my strengths and I was like, you know, I'll pack it out with special effects. I'll pack it out with monsters and try and make this short little sweet calling card basically. And I just had this idea floating around in my head for a while of this silent clown harassing a woman on a city bus in the middle of the night. Like she's the only one on the bus. It just comes to a stop in like this really desolate, creepy neighborhood. And all of a sudden a clown gets on and it's not even Halloween or anything. And he just sits across from her and it kind of plays out just the way it is you see now in All Hallows Eve. And he's just staring at her and then he starts toying with her and it's sort of playful. And then it just gets more and more gradually intense and threatening until he's trying to stab her with a needle. And it's like, wow, you know, just the escalation of that horror. So I was like, yeah, I'll start it with this clown. He'll abduct this girl and then she'll wake up in the hands of this cult with demons and whatnot. And then that was it. I mean, Art the Clown is just this sort of supporting character that brings the protagonist from A to B and then he's gone. And then when I showed people that movie, they were like, yeah, it's really cool, man. Good job. You know, creatures look great, but that clown is crazy. You really have something there. Yeah. I'd like to see more with that clown. And I got that note like across the board. So I'm like, all right, let's showcase him some more. So then I made the Terrifier short film, which I think was a 20-minute short film. That's the last segment in All Hallows Eve. Okay. And that was just a showcase for Art the Clown. It's like, all right, now let's give him, you know, the spotlight and turn him into more of a slasher now, because I'd never really seen a slasher. At that time, there weren't many slasher clowns. I mean, you had Pennywise. He's, you know, he's the pinnacle of the killer clown, still is, but you know, he's not quite a slasher. And I went tried to be as different as possible from Pennywise, because I knew, especially the Tim Curry Pennywise at the time, I didn't want to step on his toes. I didn't want to have anything to do with him. So from the color scheme to him having hair, Art being bald, one using weapons, one not, one speaking, one not, just across the board, I was like, I can't be anything like him. And I always gravitated more toward the silent killers, even though I absolutely love Freddy. There's something to me that's a little more unnerving about a silent killer that you can't stop and have a conversation with. You can't rationalize with them. They're more animal, more primitive, you know? So I always liked that. I thought that was creepier. So that's the main reason why he's silent. Plus, I don't have to worry about writing dialogue for him.
That's a good point. That's true. So that was kind of the genesis. And then at what point did All Hallows Eve come into play and you compiled these two shorts that you had at the time, and then you compiled that and made the anthology that we know is All Hallows Eve? How did that come to be, and around what time was that?
Okay, I think that was around 2013. So I think both of those short films, I made them, put them into a couple of festivals, and then I just threw them on YouTube. And I was like, let's see what happens. And Terrifier was getting a lot of hits, especially for that time, because YouTube wasn't what it is now. And for a 20-minute obscure short horror film, it had like 150,000 views at that time, which was pretty good. Yeah. And the producer, Jesse Baget of All Hallows Eve, he was looking around YouTube to find Halloween-based short films from amateur filmmakers, and he was just going to compile them and make an anthology. And he loved Terrifier, and he loved Art the Clown, and he's like, I want to make this movie. I want to put Art the Clown on the cover, like he'll be the focal point of this film. He's like, and I'm going to go and try and find films from other filmmakers. And I was like, well, is it possible to just let me, be the sole filmmaker? I was like, I actually have this other short film with Art the Clown in it, which was The Ninth Circle.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, and then maybe we can get a couple extra bucks and we can pad it out, make another story, and do a wraparound. Because I wanted it to be, I didn't want to share the movie with anybody, especially if it was going to be Art the Clown being the focal point of it. So, and he agreed, which was cool. And so we went and made All Hallows Eve. It was it's not what I wanted to do with Art the Clown. I never intended for him to be in an anthology and that whole VHS tape angle. I never liked. He was doing that because the producer was doing that because the movies VHS were popular at the time, and that's kind of what he was kind of piggybacking off of.
I got
so,
you.
Yeah, but it was like I got my name out there a little bit, and it was the first time I got a movie on DVD. And it was just all stepping stones that led to where it is now. So I don't regret it.
Yeah, and it was everywhere too. I mean, I want to say I bought my DVD at Walmart. I mean, it was everywhere, and Art the Clown right there in the Walmart aisle, unbelievably.
Right. Exactly, so it's surreal. Yeah, so it's cool.
So you said that wasn't really your intention of where you saw Art after the Terrifier short film. Did you have an idea to put him in a feature after that, or did that thinking come later? Or did you always point?
Always. Okay. So when I made the Terrifier short, that was going to be I wanted to show that to people and be like, look, this is what we did for X amount of dollars in 20 minutes. I want to turn this into a feature. And that didn't happen. That didn't happen even after All Hallows Eve came out. Because I remember specifically reaching out to the producer and saying, well, what do you think? Do you think we can make an Art the Clown soul feature now? And he said at that time, he was like, look, clowns, they're not interested in clowns. Clowns can't sell a movie. Clowns can't sell a movie.
Wow.
But I don't blame him for that. I mean, that's just that's the mindset, because nobody wants to start the trend. They just want to follow.
Right.
And at that point, you didn't have It. It didn't come out yet, the new It. But I remember telling him, because there were already rumors that It was coming out, and that it was at the same time when it was announced that Rob Zombie was making 31. And I said, I'm telling you, man, clowns, like, everything is cyclical. I'm like, clowns are gonna be the next big thing. I really think we should do this. And he just declined, and I went off on my own and tried to raise the money myself to make it. And I found my producer now, Phil, who's become like one of my best friends. And he's the only reason why Terrifier exists today. He's the only reason. He's the only one who believed in me and gave me money to make it. Terrifier, I feel like, for me personally, I feel like is my first official movie, because it's the first movie that I got to make exactly what I wanted to make, how I wanted to make it. It's like All Hallows Eve was just this, concoction. There's my short films trying to piece it together with what the producer wanted to make, and then it's just this weird thing, came out of that. And then Frankenstein, I didn't want to make a Frankenstein versus Mummy movie, but I was delivering flowers. I'm like, at that time, that was my day job. I'm like, like, I'll direct a movie. I'm like, let me write this and I'll do that, But again, that wasn't something I had a passion for, that I really must make this. Terrifier, I had a passion for. It's like I knew exactly what that movie was. That came straight from me, which is important, And that's the same thing that's happening, I hope, now with Terrifier 2. I feel really, really good about it. It's very genuine. It's all coming straight from me. So hopefully it works.
And there's so much more still to come, guys. We talked in depth about the making of Terrifier, creating those insane kills, the challenges of using practical effects, and of course, more about Art the Clown and Terrifier 2. You don't want to miss this. Be sure to subscribe to our channel if you haven't already. Turn on the notifications. Part 1 of my exclusive new interview with Damien Leone will drop this coming Wednesday right here on the HDN channel. Until then, I'm Matt Arts for Halloween Daily News. Thank you for watching.